Hey everyone, so I've been wanting to make a full collection video, but because I don't edit videos, it wouldn't really be feasible. It would be like 2 hours long. So I figured I would just do a bunch of separate videos and go through the collection like that. So I will be showing the puzzles, then having separate videos of me solving them. And yeah, this one's gonna be about all my magnetic cubes. So this is all the cubes in my collections that are magnetic, and I will have like shape mods, big cubes and stuff like that, different categories. And then at the end I will have a playlist with the whole collection, but just in a bunch of separate videos. So let's get to it. This is one of my fuse cubes and the only magnetic one. And I don't think I will ever upgrade. So this is the Cyclone Boys Magnetics cube. I'm not really much into Cube, but even if I decided to get a little bit faster, like to get sub 10 or with some intermediate method or something, this is fine. It just feels very nice. It is magnetic, very stable, corner cuts. It's fine. I don't think I need a better one ever, basically. This is Mini Wood Tray, my first magnetic 4x4. I replaced the springs with the springs of a Zenshi, which makes it quite a lot faster, and it really limits corner cutting a little bit because the springs have less, they're much shorter. But I instantly got better times when I switched, so still worth it. And now I'm thinking actually, the springs have been, the springs of the wood tray have been in the Zenshi for a while, and I wonder if maybe they got compressed by the shorter screw length. So I might try putting them back in and seeing what happens. But this works really well, even though corner cutting is now not as good as it used to be. The speed compensates for it. And I really enjoy the feel of it. Glad I bought it. No complaint with it. This is a Yushin Cloud 5x5 that I magnetize myself. I'm happy with the result, but I don't recommend it because it's very tedious. It really takes forever. I put kind of too strong magnets maybe in the inner layers. It's kind of hurting the fluidity, but it's extremely stable. And yeah, the outer ones are quite light, which is fine. I mean, you could solve it with Roux, no problem. So it's stable just by virtue of the middle being so tightly held together, but I probably should have used somewhat lighter magnets for the inner layers, but yeah. Still it performs well, and I expect as I get faster I will probably enjoy the strong magnets more, to be able to turn more quickly. Yushin Cloud is still a good budget 5x5, I think, even without magnets. This is the YJ Yusu V2M, also called Yulong V2M 4x4. Bought it at a recent competition. I just tried it and I liked it, and I figured why not another magnetic 4x4. It was really nice out of the box. I just messed with the tensions a tiny bit, but they were quite even, and added some lube. I think I tightened it a little bit actually, I don't remember exactly. Yeah, it's pretty tight, but yeah, it performs fine. Feels really nice, great shades, great price. I would recommend it. I don't know if the Little Magic is better, I don't have that one yet. But this is fine, this is lovely and very cheap, so as a first magnetic 4x4, I think it's a great option. I suspect the Shengshou Mr. M is also a good one, but again, I don't have that one. So this is the 5x5 from YJ also, the Yu Shuang V2 one. I haven't set it up at all, didn't add lube, didn't mess with the tensions, because I'm less into 5x5, and it's also fine out of the box. It just works. Feels nice to solve, great shades. Would also recommend as a first magnetic 5x5. Definitely better than anything non-magnetic, for sure. And again, the Yushin Little Magic is probably better, if a little bit more expensive. But this is fine. Now, on to the 3x3s. There's, how many of them are there? 12, 13, 14. I used to have YG MGC version 2. Didn't like the feel of it. Performance was fine, but I didn't like the feel, so I got rid of it. And I also had 50mm Cubing Classroom magnetic cube, which was also fine, but I didn't use it much because I tend to take small cubes mostly on the go, and I don't want to take magnetic cubes on the go because I tend to drop them and then dislodge the magnet, so I got rid of that one. And I also removed the magnet from 2x2 that I had magnetized because I don't really care about 2x2. So this is the only small magnetic cube I still have, and I'm gonna keep. I don't use it much either, but it's just very fun to do a few solves occasionally, and it's gorgeous. It's a mini Zenshi. I put 4x2 and 35s in it. Actually, I put 4x1, and then that wasn't enough, so I put an extra 4x2 in the edges. So it's really 4x1 in the corners and 4x3 in the edges. It doesn't hinder end sizes at all. It's really, really fun to use. I keep it tighter than I normally would a Zenshi. And minimally lubed. It's very fast. The magnets are quite strong for the size, so it really clicks nicely into place. And it's just super fun to use, and I get fairly decent times on it. This is a 2018 Zenshi. It's actually a really, really good cube, but it definitely needs magnets. It's basically unusable without. It's extremely fast. It's extremely quiet. It's the quietest cube I have. Maybe not quite on the level of the Tengen, I guess, but I don't have that one. It has a very nice feel. It's 57mm, but because it's quite rounded on the edges, it doesn't feel particularly chunky. And with magnets, the performance is amazing. It cuts pretty much anywhere like a modern speed cube should. It's fast, it's stable. I really like the old Zenshi shades that they kept. If you don't, I guess get the stickered version and put whatever shades you like. Oh, there's a pink version also actually. But I really, really like this cube, and I think it's like one of the best cubes available at the moment if you put magnets in. This is the first magnetic cube I get, the Voltpower M. Just tried it at a competition. I tried a bunch of magnetic cubes at my first competition, and I just really, really like the feel of this one, and I still do. It's really, really nice, and those primary internals give it a nice look as well. I don't use it all that much though, because it gets tiring. It's quite a bit heavier than most cubes, and it's fine for a few solves, but then I tend to get tired. I mean, not get tired, but it feels less pleasant, and my hands get a little sore after many solves. But otherwise, a really, really nice cube. I prefer it to the Volk in terms of feel. Performance, I would say, is about the same. But so this is the Volk that has been. It's a second-hand cube. I had to reglue 4 magnets that had come loose, and I restickered it. Those are full-fitted Volk stickers on the cubicle. They look really nice. I'm kind of liking the Volk more than I used to. I'm still not a huge fan of the feel of it, but I don't know, it performs better for me than it used to, if that makes sense. I guess maybe as I get a little bit faster, I appreciate its qualities more or something like that. It's still a relevant cube today, I think, even though it's quite old now. The factory magnetic one came out recently, and I think it makes complete sense. It's a very good cube for sure. And so yeah, I didn't use it all that much, and lately I've been using it a bit more and enjoying it a bit more. This is Yushin Little Magic that was magnetized by someone else. I'm not going to scramble that one because I recently re-glued the magnet just a couple of hours ago, and it might still not be completely dry. It has the same full-fitted Volk stickers as the Volk, and they fit perfectly. So if you want to use that on a Little Magic, or actually on an MF3RS2, it will fit very nice. This is another Yushin Little Magic magnetized. This one was magnetized by Cube Lilo, which is an Indian shop. It's really nice, but I don't like how it feels. Nothing wrong with the magnetization job, but it kind of ruins the feel of the Little Magic for me, which is, it just flows very easily. It's very effortless, and the magnets make it quite clicky. I think they're 4x2 and 35. And I wonder if I should maybe magnetize a Little Magic with wider magnets or lighter magnets or both to see how that feels, because this performs great, but I don't like it. I don't like how it feels because it kind of it feels like a Little Magic that's slowed down and it's meant to be fast. I don't know. Not a big fan of it. Same with the other one. So I don't use them all that much. This is a Shengshou Mr. M. It was kind of the first good budget magnetic 3x3. It's not very good, but it's decent. It does a little less than 45 if you loosen it, and some reverse, but it's quite a blocky design. It's basically like a tank or a gem, and it has the textured tiles of the gem, at least the original one. I think they changed it. I had to fix the magnets in the edges because they were loose and it was clicking. It was very annoying. But if you do that, it's a fun cube. It's a fun cube to use. It has very strong magnets and it's very fast. So it's a great cube to get a feel of what magnets are for. If you're like not convinced, if you've never tried a magnetic cube and you're not convinced, try this one and you'll see why it makes sense. Might be good for one-handed just because of how strong the magnets are and how easy it is to turn. I just like to play with it occasionally for no reason. This is the one I use the most for one-handed. It's a Shengshou Fangyuan V2M. It's very light, very airy and empty feeling. Quite clicky. The magnets are somewhat strong, but also they're small, so it's very clicky. I really like the feel of it. It's just I don't get the best times on it. I mean, I get mostly the same times on any cube, but I tend to get problems with it when solving two-handed. I think I could get used to it, but yeah, it takes some getting used to. For one-handed, it just works really well, though, I don't know. For me, anyway. It's a bit of an underrated cube, I think. It's underappreciated. I think it's better than the Kailin V2M, for example, but quite similar. This is the Fangxi Shuangren Illusion, the mini Shuangren, restickered and magnetized. It's arguably the most good-looking 3x3 ever made. Really nice. Recognition is not a problem with the two plastic covers. although it was with the stock stickers. That was the stickers, not the plastic. And with magnets, it's almost, well, I would say it is usable as a contemporary. It doesn't have the same performance, but it has good enough speed and good enough corner cutting that you could still use it in competition. But it just feels and looks really nice, and that's why I use it. I magnetized it just so I could do solves on it and get normal time. Yulong V2M, very nice. I would say one of the best budget magnetic cubes. I did add 4x1 and 35s in the corners because I felt it was a bit catchy and a bit too fast. Not to a problematic extent, but just it wasn't quite perfect, and now it is quite perfect. Much better than it was, and almost competitive with flagship cubes. Really nice, quite strong magnets with the added ones in the corners, but still fast. And I get really good times in it. I like the shades, I like the feel. Very nice cube. This is the MGC V1. I would still recommend this cube. Its performance isn't amazing, but it's good enough, and the feel is fantastic. It's also not the quietest anymore, but it has a nice, pleasant sound. Not necessarily quieter than another cube, but just more plush and kind of nicer. Yeah. And the feel is really unique. It also looks good with the primary internals. So I would still recommend it, not as your new main, but as something to have in the collection and to occasionally practice with. Very fun cube. This is an MF3RS1. I swapped red for pink. I really wish there was a more modern cube that you could do that with, but this is the best one you can get. And I put 6x1 and 35s, or and 38s actually, in that. 6x1.5, sorry. And I really recommend those magnets because they're wider, and so the feel is less of a snappy click, and it feels more smooth while still being quite strong. I didn't really like the MF3RS without magnets because it's quite catchy, but the strong magnets fix that completely. I use this for my only official solves in one-handed, and it worked really well for me. It looks really cool with the pink also, I think. And now that it has strong magnets, it feels kind of nice. This is an MF3RS2. I put black internals in it. It's quite dirty, sorry about that. Which makes it look just a little extra cool. I put 4x2 and 35s, and yeah, it's the perfect strength. It's already a fantastic cube without magnets. It doesn't hugely need magnets, but yeah, this is very, very nice. It feels fantastic and competitive with the flagship cubes. I use this in competition also and got decent results. And this is the RS3 that I magnetized myself, also with 6x1.5 and 38s. And I haven't tried the stock factory magnetized one, but with those magnets, it's the best cube I've tried. I haven't tried again X or Tengion, but I've tried pretty much everything else. And this is, by a fairly wide margin, the best cube I've tried. It's the only cube I have where I can say that I kind of statistically get slightly better times with consistently. It just, the speed is perfect, the corner cutting is optimal. The shades are fantastic. It's the best cube I have. It's not my main because I just like to use different cubes every day and to mix it up. but for sure is the one that I will use in competition from now on. And yeah, that's it for the magnetic cubes, and I will link in the description solve videos, and see you for the next part of the collection. Bye!